Hello and welcome back to Hone. Today I'm going over my Silence Force deck list. This got me second place at the OTS Storage Championship, securing my invite to the national tournament, the World Championship qualifier happening this July. Now let's begin. So first I have the two Skull Guardians for the Voiceless Voice, really good card. I chose two of it because at three it's a little too coggy, but he's your main man for the deck. Then I chose to have the two Ceravis, having a really good time being searchable, and it can negate summons, and it's a hand trap. And at two, I felt it wasn't that cloggy. Now you're going to need three low. Three low is pretty mandatory for the deck. She gets you the spells to traps pretty easily, and casts the entire tree for the ritual. So she's really, really good. I was contemplating going two, but I think three is the right number. Now, 3 Saphira is pretty staple too, being able to get you both your ritual spell in the graveyard and your ritual monster in hand, and acting as a ritual in the graveyard. Awesome card. Basically a 1-card starter for your entire deck. 1 Ceravis, the effect is really good. He special summons himself, and then when activates effect, he can special summon any light ritual from your deck or dragon warrior, and he bounces back to hands. He basically recovers himself, so he's really useful for getting more rituals out the deck. Now I'm taking the 1 Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph. It's a light dragon ritual, level 7, and it can negate spell effects. It can burn your opponent for damage if they special an extra deck, and it can tag out for another ritual when it negates, and it has a nifty recursion effect on its pendulum effect. I play 3 Diviner, the other starter of the deck. Being able to mill a fairy is absolutely amazing from an extra deck or deck, and being able to start your combos through her. And her little modulation lets you access certain synchros and certain cards in your extra deck. So, amazing 1-card starter. Playing the 1 Triz Hierarchia. So, it's your main primary mill target off the Diviner of the Herald. Her effect is in hand or graveyard. You contribute as many fairies, you get certain effects, and special summon herself when she's aboard, banishes. The first effect is you tribute 2, you destroy a card. If you tribute 3, you get to draw 2 cards. So, really good card overall. And at 1, it's not very bricky. Now for the stables, I'm going to go quickly through these. So, 3 Ash, 2 Haunted Bell, against Flameburge and some deck cards that recur from the graveyard. It's really good. 2 Ghost Marner. So, in case if I drew it, I didn't get heated. That's the main reason. And it's a good negate and it can burn for a time. 2 Veiler, because I didn't want to see it too often. 1 Droll, just in case I get the mirror match or some other matchup, so the 1 Droll is pretty good. 3 Barrier is the main card for the Voiceless Voice. It can search any Voiceless Voice card or ritual. And my Voiceless Voice card or Skull Guardian. And it can protect your monsters as long as Low's in the field along with the light ritual monster. So, really good. You got 2 of the ritual spell. It can only tribute light monsters for a light ritual. And if a light ritual leaves the field, you can banish it by a card effect. You can banish it to special summon a light ritual from your deck that's named Ceravis, Saphira, or the Voiceless Voice Skull Guardian. 3 extra, because we're not really using our extra deck. So banish 3 or 6, draw up to 1 or 2. Start main phase. 2 pre-prep, because since the ritual spell names them, you can search virtually anything in your deck. 1 Called By, just in case you get hand trapped or some nasty effects in the graveyard. And then 1 Radiance of Voiceless Voice. Can we activate during the main phase? It can either shuffle back a light ritual or a spell card to special voices from the deck or add it, or it can destroy itself to pop the number of rituals on the board. So pretty good nifty utility. Then 2 Imperm to deal with all those pesky cards on the field. Now for the extra deck, I picked a very interesting extra deck because it doesn't really matter in this deck, but it's nice to go into things to switch up on your opponent or make certain interactions possible. So the first things first, the 1 Herbal Goddess. I do know, after getting spooked out of my mind, getting a 200,000 pep, I don't think she's ever really some of my extra decks. It's a good way to clear off stuff that you cannot normally clear. 2 Dynamundo. Came out of Photo Hypernova, a link just for rituals, which is really good. It requires a ritual monster to make it. And when it's summoned, you can spin back a ritual from your graveyard and a card in the field. and spin them both back to deck. Really good. And during the opponent's turn, you contribute it to special ritual from your graveyard. So it has amazing recursion, it can reproximate your rituals, is a good beater, and has really good potential for link up. So Dynamundo at 2. The one lineup because all your girls are light, so might as well use them to grab a Veiler or something light in their graveyard. Nice, self-explanatory, one of the best links ever printed. Now, Prayer of the Agent's Moon is maybe something people have not seen so often. It needs 2 fairies. It searches for a Sanctuary in the Sky or Sanctuary as cards. That's not what we're using it for. We're using it for its pop effect. So we contribute a fairy to destroy a card on the field. So she can either tribute herself or a fairy on your field to destroy a card. So in case your opponent plays like something like Summon Limit or some pesky card, the like continuous like Birth that you want to get rid of, Moon can get rid of it for you. 1 link Rebo because low is a 1, and that's a great tech into that. Typhon, self-explanatory, great defeater of Zeus. Chaos Angel, also very staple in decks and running light and darks, and with Tres Hierarchy in the deck, it makes low and Tres Hierarchy instant Chaos Angel, making that a really good synergy in the deck. Now we're playing the 1 Odd Eyes Wing Synchro for when the Pendulum Graph Ritual Monster negates, this will be our primary special summon target. 1 Arc Light, so when we mill it off the Diviner, we get a search of a ritual monster, ritual spell. When we mill this off Diviner, we get a targeted pop. And now these 2 is for my side deck, because I was also siding the Super Poly, so these are great Super Poly targets. And that's it for the extra deck. Alright, let's get started with the saucy side deck. Now, I like these options because it made game 2 and 3 feel very different from the very first game you play. And so I'm going to start off with my 2 nibs. I like siding into these because it made it possible for me to kind of side in against decks that need to get nibbed and not have it in the main for decks that didn't need to get nibbed. And I think a lot of the decks in this current format don't need to get nibbed. They can play through it. They have Carlisle card fixing graveyard. They have a lot of recursion, or they're simply just unaffected by this card. So nib makes it so that I can have a jump of my opponent. And just in case they think I'm going to nib them, I can save for game 2 or 3. Now, I cited the 2 tactics because I think, although there are many hand traps in the game, you're getting M-permed or some sort of like new negate from some other facet, or not even running hand traps is being more popular as more combo decks are being seen play. So if they don't interact with you on your first turn and you keep your triple tack and you lose the next turn, the triple tack doesn't do anything for you. So I side against decks that are either hand trap heavy or monster effect heavy on my turn. I decided the 2/3 probably as a board breaker. It's uninteractable, so it's just a great target to essentially get rid of stuff on their board that you otherwise can't deal with. The 2 Cyclone for possibly Unchained or Labyrinth or anything that needs their spell and trap still floating. Kashtira, you want to get rid of that stuff. The 1 HFD, self-explanatory, pop all spell and trap controls. Now I made the 2 Lightning Storm. This could definitely come out. Wasn't a fan in testing it for the tournament, but it did help me against the Rescue Ace matchup. And if you can get rid of their back row immediately, they really don't have anything to fall back on. So it's still a nice card to go against like a bunch of setup decks like Labyrinth and Rescue Ace. And then the 2 Solemn. If you can stop it from happening, then you are winning the game. It doesn't matter if it takes half your life points. Now my secret tech is, instead of Summon Limit, I'm playing 2 Imperial Iron Wall. I think there's so many decks in the game that banish nowadays that I don't really care if they can summon a bunch of monsters. I kind of care if they can get more recursion or more things by banishing their cards. Like, this card definitely stops Flu. It can protect you against D-Shifter. It can stop them from using the wanted banish portion of the spell or any portion of the spell that banishes. So, and not only does it protect you from getting stuff banished, that your opponent can't even do their own plays. I know it kind of locks you out from like doing Saphira or like doing Extravagance, but I think you're already winning anyway if you flip this on them against certain decks. And that's all for the video. I hope you liked my deck list. I hope you got some more insight. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'm going to post the deck list after this. and my ratings henceforth. So stay tuned for the next video.